All right, national politics now. Voters in Mississippi, Alabama headed to the polls this morning. They opened about an hour and 15 minutes ago. Magnolia State voters, you could be the decision maker. Here's why. Newt Gingrich, he says if he doesn't win Mississippi or Alabama, his campaign may not continue. Mitt Romney, Rick Santorum are trying to relate to you, the Southerners, to show the rest of the country that they are indeed presidential. Luke Vargas, our political contributor, has been following the campaigns. He joins us by phone from Birmingham, Alabama. Good morning to you, Luke.
Good morning, Greg.
Yeah, you've traveled the campaign now in Alabama and Mississippi. You were even here in Tennessee recently. Caught up with all the candidates, met with the students at the colleges and the universities. Are people getting a clear indication that they could be the game changer depending on which candidate they vote for today?
Right, they certainly are today. About a week ago, when I set off through Mississippi, I frequently ran into voters who weren't aware of the importance of today's election, who had perhaps internalized the relatively minor role that the state had played in past years. But as the week has progressed, excitement has increased, and with the exception of Ron Paul, these candidates are canvassing the state, and people are getting excited.
Let's talk about Mitt Romney. Yesterday, he was in town, and he had Jeff Foxworthy, or whatever this guy is, with him. Is he connecting now to the Southern voter that's concerned, about his true conservative values?
Well, I'm not sure about that. Mitt Romney started yesterday very early in Mobile, and on display was the organizational strength that's allowed him to do so well with delegates so far. His wife, Ann Romney, was addressing a crowd of supporters as a rainstorm was gathering overhead, while Mitt remained inside on a television interview with Fox. Eventually, the rain did come down, and Romney's security detail even had to seek some shelter in order to be able to perform their jobs effectively. But the man, as you mentioned, turning heads here was comedian Jeff Foxworthy. You know, just as Romney has drawn some snickers from many for trying to demonstrate his comfort in the South by saying y'all and referencing his love of grits, among other things, some said Foxworthy's endorsement only furthers some of these comedic stereotypes of the South and proves that Romney is desperate for support here, however he can come by it.
All right, let's talk about Newt Gingrich. Many people are saying that he's got to make a big stand here. Let's go to some of the pictures that you took when you were following this candidate. Clearly, he's trying to drive home this gas issue. Is it working?
I think it is working, and as I mentioned, that sort of out-of-touch thing that people are talking about with Romney, you couldn't levy the same criticism at Gingrich. Here he is trying to run an issue-based campaign. In this case, the energy message of $2.50 gasoline. You know, actually, the Gingrich campaign is displaying some interesting things. I arrived at an event last week in Jackson, Mississippi, only to find that the Secret Service had hopped on board and was granting protection to him. So even though he's not, that kind of security projects sort of a different message than Gingrich's sort of toned-down retail politics, he was able to maintain his reputation on the campaign trail even as his circumstances evolved. But, you know, Gingrich is building up a dedicated following. I ran into a group of supporters calling themselves Team Tennessee for Gingrich. They had traveled down from Nashville after Gingrich's disappointing third-place finish on Super Tuesday. They're hoping to contribute in whatever ways possible here in Mississippi and Alabama.
All right, let's talk about Rick Santorum. He's a person who wants Newt Gingrich to get out, so it'll be a two-man race. How is he doing there? It seems to be that he is a guy who's spending a lot of time in that state trying to reach out.
I think it's paying off. You know, I saw only Santorum volunteers manning polling locations in Memphis last week, and his campaign here has perhaps the largest crew of volunteers, too. Many of his supporters are younger folks, like a Bible college student who I ran into who was proudly displaying the candidate's campaign sign and a Bible simultaneously. This man brought along 7 of his college-age friends. That makes a difference. And some of our viewers may know the Duggar family from the TLC show 19 Kids and Counting. They're big Santorum supporters, and all of the kids were engaging in a lively debate with a Ron Paul supporter last night who didn't know who they were and was trying to convince them to change their minds. So, you know, young people are coming out for Santorum in big numbers, actually, here.
Young people coming after Santorum, coming with Santorum in big numbers. Interesting to see how that plays should he win the nomination. Luke Vargas is always providing you with some very interesting behind-the-scenes stories of what's going on. Luke, hopefully we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, Greg.
Okay. We'll be back right after this with Good Morning Memphis on Fox 13. More news and weather.